Des Moines 70.3 run course. That is what we are going to discuss on this video. I am getting more and more pumped as we go through the holidays and get into January, where we're start looking at race specific training. This close, converting all Training Peaks workouts to be compatible with Garmin Sync for the bike and the run, and doing some other adjustments to make things a lot more streamlined for my training plans, and then we'll be released. You guys will be off to the races, literally training and getting ready for the race. So we've gone over the swim, we've gone over the bike. Now we're gonna hit the run because that's what you're gonna drive on, swim, bike, and run, right? Looking at the course on the map, we've got a nice little out and back 2-loop course. So transition is right here. You start off on the run and you go out to the turnaround point, come back, do a little loop around the lake where we swam. So you get to look at all that, appreciate how far you swim, then come through and do a little trail system. You come through downtown, you hit this U-turn, come back and do it all again. So a little bit of a teaser to come all the way this close to the finish line, you get to turn around and come back and do it all again. So if that first loop seemed long and treacherous and drudgery and all this other stuff, all these fun adjectives that you're going through, if you're not, you get to go through and do it again. So hopefully you enjoyed it because you get to suffer through it again. But the key is looking at the elevation. There are a couple little spikes here, and it looks pretty much right when you get a transition. There might be a little situation going on here. I'd have to dig in a little bit deeper. I didn't look at Google Maps to find exactly what's going on here, like a bridge or something like that. But basically, you kind of go up something, down something. It's not that big of a deal. It's probably a little bit of a climb, maybe 7,500 feet. So the total gain is about 800 feet. So mostly it's over these two little spots. The rest of the way it looks pretty rolling and pretty straightforward. So I think this is going to be an optimal situation to where if the weather conditions hold up to be good, you can go out there and have a solid bike ride. You can go after it. It's a little bit hilly, but I think you can spend a little bit of energy, come in a little bit depleted on the run, because the run, as far as hills and that kind of thing, is not going to be that extreme. So I think you have an opportunity, if you're a little less conservative on the bike, you can come in and still have a good run. So I think there's an opportunity for that. At least that's going to be my game plan. Go out there and try to kill the bike as best as possible. Leave a little bit for the run and come back and see what's like. But looking at it, it is 2 loops. So like I said, you'll have to start transition. You run all the way over here, do your U-turn, come all the way back, do another U-turn, then do it again, do it again. So you're going to come so close to see the finish line. And it's kind of like how the races did Indian Wells. We actually ran 50 feet away from the finish line. You do this whole loop and come back. So it is what it is. So we'll have to deal with it. So do note the transition and finish line is 2 miles apart. So this is your transition area. And this is the finish line. So if you kind of do a little bit of a takeoff, it's a little bit 2-ish miles. So it's going to be interesting. The athlete guide is not out, obviously. I'm not aware that if they've advertised kind of how they're going to handle this. So I don't know if parking near the finish line, so you have a vehicle to come all the way back to transition and get your stuff, is going to be optimal. Or parking by the start area, so all your cars and everything, you don't have to worry where to go. Or if they're going to have, if you can park by the finish line and they're going to transport you to the start, which I highly doubt. So if you park up here, get you to the start, you do all that and come back over here. So at the finish line, you can grab your car and come back out here. Highly possible they have transport, kind of a bus system or transit or some way to keep you back to transition, because after you do a half Ironman, that's going to be a long way to kind of trudge through to come get your stuff, because there's going to be your bike, your everything's going to be over here, and it's a one transition race. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. I have some connections within Ironman. I'm going to ask some questions just to see kind of how they think they're going to handle this. I mean, ultimately, it'll be figured out probably 4 to 6 weeks before when they release the athlete guide, and it'll be totally, this is our plan, this is what we're going for. At this point, it's probably all spitball and gesture. So I'm just happy we've got a course map and kind of look at it, look at elevation. But just be mindful, there's going to be a little bit of a situation with the finish line of coming back and get your stuff for transition. I don't think that they would take all your stuff and transport it to the finish area. That is typically not a half Ironman protocol. My best guess, is it going to be a bus or something that kind of takes athletes and spectators back to transition so you can get all your stuff, get in your cars, and head home. Because I don't think they want to mess with everybody parking down here, transport down here, and then I just think that's too many loops back and forth. I think they're just going to find a nice, easy way to keep you back to transition. Hopefully. Hopefully you don't have to walk. You never know. They could make you walk. So be prepared for that. Leave a little bit extra to keep yourself, your sweaty self, back to transition and get all your stuff. But the key is watch for the athlete guide. So when that comes out 4 to 6 weeks before the race, that's going to be the kind of end all be all. But don't always pay attention to the Facebook page because they could come up with a better idea later on or something could come up. But like I said, there's minor climbs. There's 2 little climbs here, this early part of the transition. So when you hit the first loop, you'll have it out of the way and you come back and hit again, and you get a nice run back in. So just, it's not going to be, overall it's kind of a flat course. Even 800 feet of gain, it's not super over 13.1 miles. It's not super killer elevation. You get it over with, like I said, kind of 4 little spots. The finish line is kind of a downtown, kind of a entertainment district for Des Moines as far as I've run the course. I'm not exactly familiar with this area, but they said it should be energetic. I mean, you're going through these old park areas, parks, so it should be in an area that's not out of town and it's not kind of remote and unreachable. So I would imagine there's going to be spectators and opportunities for spectators all along the course. So should be pretty energetic. I think that the Des Moines, it sold out. The race sold out quickly, so I think there's going to be a good contingent of people, triathlon clubs and athletes, all kinds of other stuff that aren't even doing the race, or be there to cheer you on. So I think there's going to be plenty of energy around this race. Looked at the historical temperatures, and usually it's in the mid 70s. I think the high has been 83. It was a record high at this point in time in the year. So you should, like I said, be able to, if you go a little bit over on the bike, you come in the run a little bit more depleted than usual, you shouldn't have a problem with the temperature. You shouldn't have a problem with humidity. It is the Midwest. I mean, we could have storms, could be windy, could be gusty. Who knows what can happen? But typically there's light winds at this time of year. So if it's anything like my experience has been with visiting family in Iowa and going up to Iowa to do different various things, as long as you're not in the winter, you're not going to get snowed on and snowed in. The spring is usually pretty calm. You get some rain, but it's not anything extreme. Hopefully you don't see like mini tornadoes and that type of stuff in the spring. I say that now, who knows what can happen on race day, but just be ready. Historically mid 70s, light winds. On paper it looks like it should be a perfect race day, perfect conditions. But be ready. It could be raining, it could be storming, it could be hotter than usual. I would venture a guess on a lot of this, especially in the streets here, you're going to be potentially open to the elements. You have sun on you the whole time, so make sure you got your sunscreen on, your sunglasses. Just make sure you're ready for that and stay on top of hydration. No matter what, as long as it's in the 70s, you still got to worry about hydration, especially on the bike, set you up for the run. But I mean, the run looks pretty straightforward. It looks pretty interesting. I think for 2 loops, especially going through kind of a nice little park area and then the downtown area, I think it's going to be a good race, good energy. I think it's something to keep you entertained and kind of keep your mind off of what you're doing. Suffering through that last loop shouldn't be much of a problem. But overall, I don't see anything that kind of stands out that says, whoa, this is going to be a problem. You should go out and train Monster Hill. So the training plan is going to put together is going to be a little bit more bike focused. In the lake, small little lake, shouldn't have, unless it's super, super windy, there's not going to be a problem with waves. It's going to be probably a rolling swim start, so you're not going to have that much problem with people. It is going to be a little bit interesting. There's a little bit of a turn situation here, so you're going to be good on sighting and sighting often to make sure you stay on track, because no matter how fast you are, if you're way off track, it's a lot of energy to stay on track or on course. So there's nothing really that stands out to me other than making sure you're ready for the rolling hills on the bike, which is an extreme. And we've already gone over the bike course. Just get a little bit of strength there on the bike, because you come out for the run, I think this is a good opportunity to work on your tempo pacing, kind of get that VO2 up, doing some threshold runs and that type of stuff. I really think you can get some good speed here on the run and have a nice run. Or if your goal is to continue to be able to run the entire event, I think this is a good opportunity too. I don't think there's going to be anything extreme that pops up that says that this race is going to be super killer or anything like that. It's not at elevation, not super hilly. It's not an extreme time of the year for weather-wise. Like I said, there could be storms. It's in the spring, so the Midwest we do get quite a few storms going on. But usually up north, it's not as extreme. But who knows what's going to happen? The joke goes, I'm sure it's anywhere, wait 10 minutes and the weather will change or something like that. So, but Iowa typically at this time of year is pretty cool, pretty predictable, and not too crazy. But that's it. That's my take on the run course. Nothing too crazy. I don't think it's anything to be really scared of. Just make sure that you're ready for these hills. We got 891 here. You start off at like 800, so maybe 100-foot of gain. There might be a nice little steep hill, but that's it. I mean, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Just like I said, work on the tempo, work on keeping that same pace, getting those long runs in, and keeping your pace, keeping track of your heart rate, staying in a good zone 2 for the first half, and then if you're feeling it, put a little bit more on that second part of the run because you know the course behind it. If you got any questions or any other tips or thoughts, drop me a message, and I'll always share my recommendations with you. Thanks.